is, I'm the captain.
And I'm Rob Chapman.
And you are watching Andertons TV.
We are currently untethered. There's no little microphones on us. Instead, I can come up here and go, hey everybody, how you doing? It's so nice to see you. Thank you for having us today.
And that's because all the microphones that we own have been put in front of 5 of the most popular medium-sized tube combos.
In this room.
In this room. And the reason we're doing this is because a couple of weeks ago, hopefully you guys have watched the channel. I watched the video and it was and liked it. But Peter and I did a review of small valve combos. We actually had 6 that day, but we did some sort of 15, 20 watt valve combos that day. And I really enjoyed how we broke it down and tried each different amp and compared it and stuff. So I thought, as Rob was here today, we'd do the same thing again, but now with medium-sized combos. So these are all in the sort of 30 to 50 watt.
And I think it's fair to say that we've already had a little bit of a tweakage and a playage to get the microphones positioned and warm up our pores.
Yes.
And already, we've been a little bit surprised.
Well, so the first, just like in the first video, the first playthrough that we're going to do is clean channel on the amplifier, EQ at 12 o'clock, so regardless of whether that's the best sound we can get or not, we just EQ at 12 o'clock. No pedals, except a reverb pedal for the Orange and the Marshall, because they have no reverb built in. And Rob doing a bit of jingly-jangly stuff, with a selection of either a little bit of playing with a coil tap sound and a little bit of playing with a full fat sound, but just so that you
Let's
can
go around
see.
tapped and then go around untapped.
Shout. Right, so we're starting with the Orange Rocker 32, which is a 2x10 combo with no reverb. So the reverb's coming from my pedal board. Take it away, Mr. Rob. Marshall, Origin, 50.
Now I must disembark the
Yes,
Supermoon.
absolutely. So that all the reverb you hear from now on is the reverb in the amp. So now we've got the Blackstar HT Club 40 Mark II.
Mark II, 42,
Yeah.
Mark 142, Blackstar, Schwarzer Starren. Interesting point to make. I didn't flip to the neck pickup because instinctively as a player it had so much low end in it, I felt like it didn't need it.
Now this is quite... So Rob hasn't seen the video that we did with Pete, but interesting, Pete made the exact same comment about the 20 watt Blackstar. Lots of bass end, which I really liked, and some of the players thought was maybe a bit excessive. Anyway, Vox. This is the AC30, but it's the relatively new one to the line. I think it's called S1, but it's the 112 AC30.
I love it.
lastly, the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe Mark IV.
Thanks, sir.
Now, some of you may be going, why have you chosen the Hot Rod Deluxe as opposed to the new Fender Bass Breaker 30, as you seem to love it so much? And that is a good point. And I think there's really no reason.
Well, it's just been in the range for years, isn't it? It's more of a classic amplifier.
The biggest selling valve guitar amplifier ever.
Is it really?
Yeah, Hot Rod Deluxe. You see them in rehearsal studios and hire companies and bands, absolutely everywhere. It's
interesting.
Huge. But what we'll probably do in another video in the not too distant future is perhaps we'll just do a straightforward Fender Bass Breaker versus Hot Rod Deluxe video, and you can sort of check them out. But so that's why the Bass Breaker 30 is not in here. Anyway, now, did you want to just do a quick run? You did say you're going to do a quick run through the humbucker, weren't you?
Do that.
Maybe
just needs to be like GCD chords.
Yeah, short
so
okay, ready? The reverb from the pedal for the orange.
Super Moon.
Next,
that was the neck pickup. I'll keep it on neck.
Marshall.
Deactivate the Super Moon.
Blackstar. Vox. And finally, Fender.
He's a string butler, Lee.
Now, second part of the video is where I go through with the GoPro so you can see how all the controls are set, and we try and now get the best sound that we can out of the amplifier, or the best sound that we think.
We're going to Gillette it.
As opposed to what we've just done, which is the flat sound, if you like. Have you got any kind of thoughts or observations so far?
Yes. Would you like me to give the right?
Yeah, well, I'm interested to how this can... Because in the small amp video we did, it was all the same brands.
Right. Okay.
Just smaller amps. So I'm interested to where the
In
similarities
my
are.
opinion, right now, hands down, the overall winner is the Vox, which is very unusual for me because I'm not really... It's fair to say, I don't own a Vox.
Yeah.
I've never really wanted to own a Vox. But listening to this, I want to own this Vox.
It's weird.
And I'm a fan of Orange. I own three of them myself. I'm a fan of Fender. I've got Fender amps. I've obviously owned Marshalls. I obviously still own Blackstar. But that little Vox is kicking my ass in the tone place.
And the weird thing is, in the smaller videos, exactly the same thing happened. With the AC15, Pete and I went, oh, that sounds way better than we thought it would.
But I thought that Vox... keep this in or not, but I thought they ended up manufacturing in China, and then the sound went downhill, and then people were like, nah.
The short potted history of Vox was, at the back end of the 80s, I think they stopped, or certainly early 90s, they stopped manufacturing in the UK. Marshall were making the amps for Vox, bizarrely, during that period.
Right.
So when you had the original Vox manufacturing, I believe, was like Dartford or something like that. Then when that closed, Marshall made Vox under license. And then that stopped, and Vox took the whole thing out to China. And I do agree that the first revision of that amplifier was, what about we make a Vox AC30 but with all the channel switching and think the guitar, and it was a bit of a flop. So they did just go, what about we just make an AC30 with reverb in it? And that's kind of like the only real difference. Yeah. And they've been consistently good.
See, because currently for me, from my point of view, this is the voice of clean. I'm just saying.
Not according to Orange's marketing department. But anyway, let's get the GoPro and let's go behind. Okay, here we are back in the room, and GoPro Cam shows you the knobs and buttons that we've got on the Orange here. So this is the Rocker 32, as I said. So the volume, the clean channel, like a lot of Orange amplifiers, has no EQ. It's just a straightforward volume. And then when you go over to the dirty channel, you've got the gain and the volume controls are the big knobs on the outside, and then the EQ controls are in the middle. So over here, channel switch between natural and dirty. You can see we've been running it on the full mode. It has a half power mode as well. And as I said to you before, this is a 210 combo. Right, so let's go over to, there's nothing I can do to make the clean channel sound any different. There's no EQ, it just is what it is.
It's just the volume.
So we'll go over to the dirty channel.
Okay.
Now your normal sort of preferred Orange is not loads of dirt, but as much volume as we can get. Isn't
Yeah,
that so?
absolutely. You've got to drive them.
So let's see what we get here. Dirt, or layer that with a pedal? Or
I'd actually go less dirt and a bit more volume if you can do that thing.
Oh, I've got a feeling.
Mr. Hannaray, will it be
We'll
okay?
have to see. Okay, but let's try.
It'll be the thumb says
dirt now is on like number 4.
Give me more volume, Lee.
Okay.
More volume, Lee.
Yeah.
Now touch more girth, dirty filth.
Yeah. Ooh, we're going loud now.
Yeah. Turn, the reverb slightly down.
Yeah, no problem.
I like that.
Okay, do you want to, if I take the volume back down again and just show people what this has got in terms of internal gain. So if we whack the gain up sort of 3/4, you'll see what it's got.
Becomes fizzy.
Yeah,
it's too much.
I'll take it back to that low gain setting with a bit more volume, and then punch in like the one of the sort of the lower gain boosty kind of bit, like either the Dane or the very thing.
Why don't I use the new pedal on your board, the very thing from Snake Oil, Fine Instruments.
So let's get that sound back that you liked before. Which... Okay, so let's just see how we've got this pedal set. As you can see, we've got the gain at about 10 o'clock, and we're using it mainly as a level boost just to push the valve amp a bit more, and the tone's pretty central.
I love how everybody on the internet is expecting to see money rain down now.
Okay, so we're layering it over this sort of mild, crunchy tone. There you go, that's the Orange Rocker 32. Let's get back over and run you through. So if you want to switch us over to button numero dirt on the amp heat, please.
Okay.
So here you go. Here's how we had it set for the clean sound. So you can see the clean gain section was pretty low down there about 9 o'clock. EQ was flat, and the master and the presence were halfway up. Now, in order to get gain out of this amplifier, you pull the boosty control up and down like this, and compensate by reducing the master volume. And let's see what we can get with no sort of pedal. This is just internal amp gain.
Wow, that's loud.
Yeah, I'll turn it down a bit.
That just shook the hairs on the inside of my ears.
Go.
Yeah.
Less reverb. Needs less reverb. Don't forget we're using pedal reverbs.
So it's a little bit farty is the word
I
I'd
think
use.
so. I think this is classic Marshall.
But you're behind it, and I'm
That's
in front
true.
of it.
Yeah,
so
I'm not in the optimum place.
There's a
So
big
what do you want?
difference.
Less treble?
No, it needs more volume,
Right.
and it needs less gain.
Ah, okay.
Tell me if this is all right, Pete. I'm going to step on a very thinly. This needs less boost, so I'm going to do that until we get to unity. Let's try a Mjolnir as well. Sorry, I was just tapping through different pedals.
I'm just going to squidge on and
What?
just show everybody what's on the board. So Mjolnir, which again is a boosty pedal. Don't think we use the plimsoll, but if we do, that's what it's set to. Good Vibes, we're not using. Snake Oil, we are using. Dane, we are definitely using.
What I just
Bit
discovered
of
through tapping around that I
reverb.
really enjoyed was a combination of me into Pete, which which sounds like. Because it retains that tight low endness.
Cool. Well, I think, you know, being realistic, Origin 50 was certainly marketed by Marshall as an amp for pedals. That's why it's got no reverb in it. And so there we are. That's what that sounds like.
Shall I move over here now so that they can
I think
see?
you should, yeah. So we're now on the HT40. As you can see, this is probably the most feature-rich of all the amplifiers.
Featured especially for fluff.
Clean channel, the clean channel has two voices. We were just using voice 1 for the first part of the demo. The overdrive channel also has two voices. The EQ section here, this sort of bigger EQ section, only works for the drive section, and then we've got reverb master and some power attenuation over the side here. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to just quickly? Should we just quickly show them the difference between voice 1 and voice 2? Because we didn't do that.
Sure. Interesting. Voice 2 is a bit more voxy.
Voice 2 shifts the emphasis away from the bass end to the mid-range. So if you are worried about the clean channel sort of cutting through a gig situation, Voice 2 is probably the better live voicing. Whereas I like Voice 1 for more of a, you know, home use and big fat ambient clean sound thing. Anyway.
Can I just do a quick shout out to this Les Paul?
Yes.
This Les Paul's great.
That is a let's GoPro the Les Paul. Ready?
I'm getting a kinship, a bond of fraternity with this.
I like the colour.
I wish I could grasp it by its manly arm and just shake it and look it in the eyes and say, "You're my brother."
It's a Les Paul standard. the mark of...
What's the board made of? That looks just like rosewood. It is rosewood.
It is rosewood, yeah. I had to think about that for a minute. So yeah, we're using a Les Paul Standard from the 2019 range because it's got all the coil tappy stuff, so we can get kind of more stratty tones and more fat Gibson-y tones. Look. GoPro's so cool.
Now we should get back to the old-fashioned days, like I had those little tiny cassette camcorders.
Man, but they were as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I remember. I'll never forget turning up to my first job as a guitar demonstrator for World Guitars in Stonehouse Hitchin. We don't mind plugging in; they're great guys.
Yeah.
And they went, "Is that what you're using then?" I went, "Yeah, but it's really high tech." And it was literally the size of my hand, like this.
Yeah. But I think you prove the point that content is everything. The quality of the content, not the quality of the production.
Or the player.
Is what makes it. Anyway, right. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So, here we go. I am now moving over, as you can see, to... And apologies if you don't hear me very well when I turn away from the microphones. I'll try and do it like this. So, voice 1 and voice 2, but here is a dirty chat sound with a relatively low gain.
That's very dark, huh?
And now of course I've got loads of EQ to fiddle with, so let's try this.
Could I have less reverb, please?
Of course.
Thank you. That's kind of the nicest I've heard a Blackstar sounding in a long time.
Interesting.
What did you do then?
Well, there's just very little gain. Like, as in, there's probably the similar amount of gain coming out the Blackstar with the gain all the way off than there was on the Marshall with the gain, you know, 2/3 of the way in.
That's really nice. That's a nice tone from a Blackstar.
And I tell you what, I remember now when we did the small amp video, there's a reason for that, and I am just going to jump back to the clean channel because we got those kind of crunchy tones by doing this to the clean channel. So, see what I... So actually, ironically, yeah, I remember now on the small amp one we had the same issue that those kind of driven crunchy tones, which on the Orange and the Marshall we absolutely got out of the crunchy channel. They come better out of the Blackstar, out of just driving the clean channel harder. And then as soon as you go into the overdrive channel, it's like just a lot.
Yeah, it's too much.
So if we now take the gain here, let's take the gain up to 50% so that you can kind of get an idea of what it does. Here we go. So that's the Blackstar. Whether you like it the best or not, it absolutely is the most featured. It's got the most stuff on it, the biggest variety.
Well, and it sounded great.
Yeah.
I haven't given the Mark II enough time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so that's the HT Club 40 Mark II. Done enough with that one?
Enough.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
excited about this one though.
Vox AC30. So I'm going to... You can probably stay there.
Okay.
I am going to just whiz around the back again. Ooh. So here you go. Here's the top panel of this AC30 S1. You'll notice that again, the top panel is quite different looking to a normal AC30. There's no concept of a top boost and normal channel anymore. It's just one basic channel. But if we want dirt,
I want dirt, Lee.
we turn this one up and we turn this one down. So let's go 50% here and.
Lots of verb.
Turn that down a bit.
It's just a touch fartoise.
Fartoise?
Back off the game.
Hang on a second, let me see if I can make it slightly less fartoise for you.
That's it. That's a happy amp.
Yeah.
So now we'll add it. It just, you can't give it too much gain without, it's the gain and volume thing. More volume,
let's
less
see,
gain.
not because I think this is going to sound great or not, just because I wonder what it does.
Oh God.
Let's go, Brian May. Brian May.
Brian May not.
Not.
Very trebly fizzy. So
I'll take
you want
some
to
treble down.
That's yeah. I certainly would not use that kind of a sound from this.
Fair enough.
I think it wants that chiming,
Yeah.
you know, it's the volume, it's the power section doing that kind of a thing,
It's the
rather
power.
than the preamp
The power.
section.
Okay, so finally then, we're back on to the Hot Rod Deluxe. Again, quite a few knobs. A lot of you will be familiar with this. So the drive channel works to this concept of a gain channel, and the little light goes yellow, and then a more drive, and the little light goes red. So on the, let's just turn this master section down here, turn this drive up, say
Master.
5 or 6, and let's see what we get as like a crunchy tone out of this.
That's not very nice.
No, it's I don't think this is. I don't think it's its forte.
That's a bit better. It's just missing a lot of mid. Sounds like it's just way too much preamp and not enough power section.
Yeah.
Can you turn the gain
I'm
down?
going to turn the gain down, and maybe we'll try and get it using a pedal then. So where are we?
Try not. The amp sounds happier. Can you give it just a bit more volume?
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete. Sounds a lot better.
I'll take the bass down a bit.
it's an unusual tone. It's a bit like all the sound has gone into like a treble and upper mid-focused sound.
Yeah, I mean, I have taken the bass down a little bit, but I know what you mean. It's
do the Morgaine thing.
Morgaine, here we go.
Morgaine Friedman. My feeling with this Fender is that it's really designed. It was designed a long time ago, and I think it's really meant to be driven loud for.
Well, it's this Mark IV version of this is actually probably less than a year old.
But standing on the shoulders of things that would
for sure
were meant to be played very, very loud. It sounds happier, louder. It doesn't sound like it wants a lot of. This is just my personal opinion, by the way.
Yeah.
That sounds better, louder, and with less.
It's a hugely popular kind of like bluesy country.
It's not a high gain amp.
No, I was going to say it's not.
It's a crunchy thing. And neither is this. This shone when it was in that crunchy, clean territory. That was beautiful. This is why you need more than one amplifier. The Blackstar had a beautiful kind of high crunch. For me, I'd be going, well, I'd take the Blackstar and the Vox and I'd use them together. Could we do that now?
Does this allow two things to be on at the same time or not? What happens if I press two buttons at the same time?
Let's see.
No. Well, we could do it. We could do it just with the little ABY box.
Because you remember that really nice crunch sound you got from that?
Yeah.
When you wound up the clean channel?
Yeah.
That with this.
Well, we'll finish with that. I mean, as my kind of recap is, the Orange has its own voice. It's
the voice of Clean.
angry. It's a sort of angry sounding distortion sound. I think it suits a certain genre of music. It's got that more punky kind of angry sound to it, like that. I don't know what the decision behind using 210s was inspired by. I'm not sure that in that amplifier 210s is the way to go. I think,
But again, it's designed to be wound up, isn't it? It's a louder. And for me, the Orange Clean is a buttery, warm clean.
Yeah.
It's not the crystal, shiny, sparkly clean that you get from a Fender. They just went the other way.
Yeah. So that's what the Orange is. The Marshall, I think, this is quite true. Although it's a modern amp, the Origin, it's quite true to an old-style Marshall amp. It wants to be pushed loud. It wants to get some gain from the power amp section, and it's not terribly bassy. It's a gigging amplifier. So I think the Blackstar, I really like the Blackstar. I take on board the fact that it's been voiced to be very bassy, which is one of those kind of things that I think guitar amp brands do to make amps sound great in guitar shops, and then potentially the bass.
But can you roll it off though? Or is it just inherently
no. You could. Interestingly, you didn't have a bass and treble control on the smaller one. You just had a tone control on the controller. But you have got a bass control, so you could absolutely roll it down.
Right. Also, these are all the same price, ish.
Ish. Yeah. No, probably more than ish. I mean, they're all round about the £600 to £700 to £800 mark, I think.
All right. I mean, it's fair to say none of them performed badly.
None of them sucked, did they?
No, and some of them were great.
Yeah, that's the surprise package for me.
Totally. Yeah.
Same as in the smaller video. Really thought that had some great tones out of it.
Yeah.
And the Fender, again, it probably isn't the amp that you would buy to be in a high gain rock band. I don't think anyone's going like, really?
Well, you just twin, wouldn't you?
Or you just use, or you might use some different pedals. I don't really have.
Oh man, Fender Twin with the right pedals is sick.
But nonetheless, it's a classic clean sounding amplifier. Great for kind of bluesy. Sort of
probably the voice of Clean.
Wow. The voice of Clean, the voice of Clean, the voice of Clean, the voice of Clean, the voice of Clean. Hey, so many voices of Clean. Who knew? You wanted to end with two
I just
things.
Thought because the Blackstar and the Vox had a similar vocal tonality to them.
Most importantly, guys, your comment section below. What did you like the best? And what other kind of, you know, wide comparison-y types of things would you like? Perhaps next time we'll throw in some really expensive versions of these as well and sort of see. Or, as Rob just mentioned off camera, a katana. You know, where does that sit in here?
It would sit on the floor. Would make a lot of noise. Let's do it.
Robert, what are we doing?
Bonjour, la classe. Aujourd'hui, we have taken a Blackstar.
That's how the Blackstar is set.
Pushed the clean really, really hard. And then we've taken the Vox, and we have done that beautiful, chimey, classic thing. We've done that, and then we just gone, let's play them both
Pedals?
at the same time. I'm using a bit of the clockwork, and then I will step on the very thing at the end, the voice of money, to make make this beautiful.
That's the end of the video
sound.
then. Cool. Play us out, Mr. C. Jingly. Jangly.